but nobody has taken to it the way he has, and nobody stuck around the way he has.
Sure.
And I think that that's extremely beneficial, especially in a day where, kids want to be influencers and those are the people they look up to. You get one of the biggest ones in the world to be a regular part of your programming, and he's actually good at the stuff. It's just a net positive all around. It helps everybody. It helps bring more eyes to the product, which in turn helps all of the talent on the roster. It allows WWE to, get into certain parts of the media that they might not have accessed before just because of him. Endorsements, brand deals. There's so many pieces that make that such a great deal for all parties involved all the way down the line.
Without a doubt. And I love what he's doing with it. I know obviously he's going to have his haters no matter what, but his brother also has haters, and he's a great boxer, and he's signed with PFL. He's going to help take that company to the next level, which Wiz Khalifa's already been trying to do. And other people, like I know you guys have been, I think you guys were at one of the last PFL shows. And
my business partner has been the last quite a few. We both think very highly of the program they're putting on. Francis Ngannou going over there is a huge, jump for their heavyweight division. But Mojo tells me all the time how incredible the product is and how, I think it's called the Smart Cage, I believe. The way they're doing things is just different over there, and they're set to pop off. Not that they haven't already, but they're reaching for the stars, and they're gonna exceed them. I have no doubt.
I also have no doubt. I mean, PFL is what they're doing is amazing. I love the playoff situation that they have because wins and losses really do matter, and it's not just, this guy's far more popular than this guy, so we're going to put this guy over this guy to get title shot. Well, that doesn't make sense because this guy's record's this and this guy's record's this, and whoever they fought. But I love what they're doing over the PFL, and also the fighters need the money. And so if you're a champion, you win it, you get $1 million. You're not really going to get that unless you're, the top 2 or 3 talent in that company over in the UFC, which is, as much money as they've been pulling in, there's no reason not to let the money trickle down to where it actually belongs, and that's with the fighters. So what PFL's been doing is incredible.
Yeah, and look, I can't speak on what UFC's business practices are because truthfully, I don't know them well enough. I love the product. I think Dana's an absolute genius, but I don't know the structure of their contracts enough to really comment on it. But I can tell you that I think that the way that PFL definitely bonuses people and incentivizes them to win out in these tournaments and these regular seasons of the playoff system is a awesome way to do this, and it's something different, and that's the key to all of this is you can do the same thing as someone else and you're just going to be seen as a carbon copy. But being something completely different and really trying to revolutionize something in your own way and have your own lane, that's how you really make a difference. And it's no different than what we're doing with Paragon and how we've structured the company. But it's what PFL is doing right now in the world of MMA. And I think there's room for everybody. I think that UFC's not going anywhere. They're always going to be a big dog in this fight. They're always going to be the biggest dog in the fight. But I do think that having another home, not discounting Bellator or anybody like that, is always good.
Competition always breeds success, and so any more competition they can get, the better. I've heard some rumors that they are in talks to buy Bellator, but I'm not, everything's a rumor until it happens, so who knows?
Yeah, I've seen the same stuff. I would hope that, whatever happens in that space, that there's, it just increases the amount of shows and things like that. So, more fighters have an opportunity to ply their wares and, put food on the table for their families. But I certainly think that what Bellator has done over the last decade or so, and, Scott Coker through his whole career, and what PFL are doing, both have incredible, they've been incredibly helpful to building a full industry within MMA and it not just being a one company show and then that be that.
That's very true. You mentioned that what PFL is doing and what Paragon is doing is very similar. For those that don't know, can you explain what Paragon is and how it all became a reality?
Yeah. So what the company is in essence, we want to find opportunities for the most part, find opportunities for talent to make ancillary revenue that they did not have before, whether it be brand deals, sponsorships, partnerships, equity opportunities to own companies that are up and coming, all of those things, and really create additional sources of income past what they already flourish in, which is in the wrestling space. We obviously do signings and matches for people. We work on people's long-term contracts with the major promotions, have great rapport with everybody. But for the most part, what we really try to do is add value to the talent, because we believe, and we meaning my partner and my business partner, myself, that there are no better spokespeople and representatives for any brand or product than a wrestler, because they have global followings in the millions. They have a platform that is regularly seen on television for millions upon millions of people on top of that. They're constantly touring, so they know different markets. The demographics fall right into that prime purchasing demographic that these companies are looking for. And they can literally do anything. You know, if you need an immediate advertisement for your product, wrestling talent are the best at working just completely off the cuff and making people believe in what they're talking about. And that's what we aim to do. We aim to give talent opportunities to really ply their wares within the space and outside the space, more than they've ever had before. Now, how the company started, it's pretty simple. Mojo and I have been friends for about a decade at this point. We met when I was working out in Las Vegas. I was one of the heads of the entertainment over at the Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas, and we had a lot of wrestlers that would come in, but most of my job was really booking out musicians, DJs, people like that for concerts. And long story short, one day I was recruited to go over to WWE to work in a new talent department that they were building, and I was there for a cup of coffee, but really, you know, got to understand some things that I didn't understand prior to, and it just happened that Mojo and I became quote-unquote free agents right around the same time, and we both saw the same opportunity in the space to give talent a chance to make more money and be, you know, more known in spaces outside the wrestling world, and we capitalized on it. And we went to be a small boutique, and word traveled, and now we work with dozens upon dozens of talent, both in exclusive arrangements for some, but non-exclusive for others. So they have the opportunity to not only work with us, but work with other people as well, and in finding these opportunities. We just want to make sure that, you know, whoever we work with is left better for working with us.
That's generally the way I think management should be. It shouldn't be, you know, I signed you so you work for me, and then I get you gigs that, you know, whatever's the next thing, I can get it for you. It's a cohabitating situation, because you are helping be a tool that they don't need to worry about when it comes to trying to find, you know, let's say sponsorships or even signings, or they don't need to be doing the hustle that a lot of people who don't have managers have to do. So it is great that you have the, you know, the thought process of, all right, hey, you know, we want them better, even if they leave us at some point. We want them better than when they came in.
Correct. And look, at the end of the day, we're always going to be the biggest cheerleaders for the people we work with, but just not just us, but the industry as a whole. We're screaming from the mountaintops to any company why you should be working with wrestlers. And I think that it's a slow process, but we're making headway. We're working with major brands and getting, you know, people these new opportunities. We're in the midst of a campaign right now with Activision in regard to a big video game release. You know, these aren't small companies that our talent are getting opportunities with. It's, you know, major players in the spaces that they're in, and we just want to continue making sure that those opportunities exist for talent. as long as we possibly can, because we genuinely enjoy the work we do.
That's good. I mean, it's obviously better for you because you enjoy it, so it doesn't feel like work. But it's better when everyone involved is having a good time with it.
Oh yeah, and I think that we're 2 years in now, and there's so much more, white space that we haven't even touched yet in the business world. I think that there's tremendous applications for AI in a lot of these spaces that nobody has utilized yet, and in time we'll get there. I think that there's, in every facet of media, there's other opportunities for talent, not just in the wrestling space, that they should be pursuing, and we're slowly but surely opening up some of those doors for people. And we're in very much a growth phase. We work extremely long hours, and both myself and my business partner, this is apart from our families, this is the most important thing to us. I would say, besides my family and my girlfriend, there's nothing more important to me than growing this business and allowing the talent that we work with to have the best opportunities. And I can safely say, apart from his family and his wife, Mojo would say the same thing.
Yes, I could see it whenever, like at the PFL show, he looked, I mean, he's full of energy, so he's always looking like a happy guy, but it looks like he's having the time of his life.
It is frustrating to work with someone who's that much energy, because it only makes you work harder. Like, I see the work he puts in, and the enthusiasm he puts into every single thing we do as a business. And it's infectious in the best way possible, and it's also exhausting. But I would have it no other way, because our business does not grow the way it does without him really just being that, frenetic energy, but also extremely passionate and intelligent. He brings so much to the table, and this doesn't work with just him. This doesn't work with just me. But putting us together, it's, we've caught lightning in a bottle, and we want to just continue down the path with it. But I got to tell you, I'm exhausted all the time, because that dude is just energy at all times. And I've been exhausted for a decade now.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. That way you are, you do recognize it and you're trying to push yourself further. But some people like Mojo just are born with, 10 cups of coffee in them already, and they haven't even drank caffeine that day. But they can just keep going. I've
never seen him drink caffeine. He's an anomaly to me, because there's nobody built like him. And he'd hate me talking so positively about him, but he's perfect in the space he's in right now, because it's almost as if what we do was built for someone like him. And there are many like him. He oozes positivity. He is the eternal optimist. He finds a way to get the deal across the table, and all he wants to do, truthfully, is get as many people onto these deals as possible, so that way everybody has something to do at all times. And it flows into what I do, and it puts me in the same spot where I'm putting in just that same amount of work to make sure that everybody's got something going on at all times.
Yeah, I mean, you just talked about how much passion and energy he has. How do you kind of mentioned a couple ways, but how do you feel you two complement each other? And then what have you learned the most working with him?
The biggest joke we said at the beginning was he was the sizzle, I was the steak. So when we went on a call with a company, he would be, here's all the qualitative reasons why wrestlers make sense for your brand. And I was the quantitative. I was talking the numbers, the demos, the social following, things like that. And the rah-rah part is just as important, because you want people to feel excited when they leave a meeting with you, so they're just excited to do business with you. The one thing I probably learned the most from him is that there's nothing wrong with eternal optimism. I've always been a pessimist by trade. always try, worst case scenario is the first case scenario for me. And I think that I've actually turned a corner on that a little bit because of working with him the